Hello everyone, Attack Power here with another deck building video here in 3rd Canadian. And you might be thinking, why 3rd Canadian? This is like, it's not a base game one, but it's obviously from like, I think the D-Day tribute, which has been a long time. And this division recently got a pretty serious buff, and that serious buff really actually makes it competitive again. And for those who don't know, I mean, this division was the scourge of the meta several years ago. Like, this was the deck that when people played it, you quit because it just was a miserable pile of garbage to play against this deck. And maybe with these buffs, it will return to the days of terror and horror. Let's hope not. But who knows? Anything is possible. If you guys enjoyed this content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and consider supporting over on Patreon to really help out the channel. And make sure to check out the new Instagram so you get lots of cool updates and things like that. So, 3rd Canadian. The big change here is the addition of these new Kangaroo Rifle Infantry. The big issue with this division is when rifles kind of got nerfed way back when. You know, the rifle spam got destroyed and this division's infantry became total trash. And it just became not a very good division after that point. It's just like a weird, just basically fell off the map completely and really hasn't been able to get its footing back under it again. But maybe now is the day. Let's dive in here. So we have some options here in the recon tab. The best option, honestly, is the snipers. You know, you get a high availability here. 1 vet, but they come in with 3 of them, which is great. You can get 6 in B phase. I'm actually bringing them with the 2-inch mortar here in B phase. 2-inch mortar is slow, but it is really nice having these little annoying cars around that fire these mortars. I mean, you're not taking up any slots to do it. They can be super effective. I'm not putting them in an A because I want the fast transport in A to grab ground, kill transports, disrupt my opponent's deployment. That's really important to me. The 2-inch mortars can come in later to help win infantry combats and stuff in B phase and still give me those snipers. So that's why I have it built like this. You, of course, mix it up. You have 4 cards of snipers. Like, it's kind of nuts, actually. Again, this sort of I don't want to say a trend towards going nuts with snipers with Eugen lately because this division's been around forever, but we're noticing almost every division nowadays has a spam of like just tons of snipers. They used to be kind of unique. They used to be, you know, not every division had access to them, and it was kind of cool when your division did. It felt really good as the Soviets because you tended to have a lot more snipers than the Axis. Nowadays, it feels like every division gets a couple cards, not just 1 card, but a couple cards of snipers. Is it getting out of hand? Maybe, but that's not what we're here to talk about. And then your other options, we have the truck. We're not going to take the truck. The 2-man squad, you don't need them when you have snipers. Why would you do that? The Hummer Mark III is an interesting one. So it's got this weird, like, autocannon that's not really an autocannon. Like, don't be fooled. It says autocannon, but it's actually more like a armor-piercing machine gun. My experience with it has always been quite poor. It's got pretty low damage. Well, it's got machine gun levels of damage, but, you know, it's got some machine gun level damage. The AP is really low penetration. It rarely seems to kill a vehicle. I've just never been impressed with this unit. It's priced quite low, too, which should also indicate to you that it's definitely nothing overwhelming, which is why instead I'm going to take the Stackhound. Stackhound is a proven entity. I haven't unvetted because its vet curve really sucks, but truthfully, it probably should be vetted because getting 3 is still plenty. You're not going to be like flying around with these. They do come at 90 kilometers an hour, which is really one of the main reasons to bring them because they can get in early and really take out some transports. Really helpful from that respect. Then we have Scouts. I would never take these. And Scouts Piat, maybe if you really feel like you need a Piat unit. It's not an unreasonable choice, especially for only a 2-point slot. And we don't have anything like this in the AT tab. But the thing is, a lot of your infantry have Piats. Like, you have rifle Piats. So it's not nearly as effective. I mean, and it's a Piat, so it's not super effective to start. But it's not nearly as effective because you don't need this as much on your infantry because you have it on all your normal infantry. So that's what I see in the recon tab here. It's good because there's snipers and a fast armored car at the beginning. Like, that generally is a good formula for a good recon tab. Now, the infantry tab, the thing that has finally been brought back to life. So we have things I'm not taking. Defense group, I find these to be pretty useless because Brens are awful. So 2 Brens makes no difference. Like, they just die, and I think they're crap. I'm sure some people will argue with me, but I just won't agree with you. I think these are totally trash and not worth taking. Yes, they serve a purpose. Every single unit in the game serves some minor purpose, but there are so many other cheap junk infantry in this deck, there's no reason to be taking this. Engineer Leader, it doesn't have radio or anything, which is why I skip it. Rifles are still terrible. Like, these are really, really bad. And you have other options, and you should take any other option over rifles. They're really quite terrible. And Rifles Leader, and we're taking a Rifles Leader. So the actual build itself, Assault Pioneers, these guys are great. They are literally just Flamer squads, and you get 9 of them. Like, it's pretty nuts. Instead of getting the usual 6, you know, the 2-man 6 teams, now you're getting 9 of them at 4 health, which is actually like the same health as the normal Flammenwerfer or Flamethrower squads. It says they have 2 health, which they do, but they actually have the resilience of a 4 health squad. It's a really weird thing. But anyway, yeah, they have shock. You know, they do stuff. This is a great unit. Comes in the Jeeps, so they're really quick at the beginning, faster than your average fast transport. So this is wonderful. I mean, it's great getting 9 of these. It's so great. And then they have the Stormtroopers here, which are an interesting, like, basically one of those good old-fashioned small TNT squads that you're kind of just suiciding into the woods. 6 men. Stens are awful. They're one of the worst submachine guns in the game. MP40s are not much better. So, I mean, the actual damage output of this squad is poor. It's all about this right here. You're basically, for 15 points, you're sending these guys around just to blow themselves up with their enemy. And they do a good job of it. It's an effective unit for 15 points. Really can get the job done well. And then in Night Fates, we have 2 more cards of Rifles Piat. Again, trying to avoid the normal rifles, you get 3 cards of Rifle Piat in this deck. You could go A, B, C, but I'm going 2 and A, and then the Kangaroo Rifles are covering B for me. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's not an amazing unit, but it's okay. I'm strained to say it's good because, again, Brens are just so underwhelming, kind of criminally so. I don't think they should be as bad as they are. Maybe a slight buff. We don't need to go nuts. I think going too nuts and all of a sudden these Commonwealth divisions become beyond obnoxious, because truthfully, one of the only things holding back the Commonwealth divisions these days is the rifles. I mean, they have 17 pounders, they got Fireflies, they have in a phenomenal Air Force, they have really solid artillery across the board. You know, their armor is usually a little bit lacking, but, you know, there's so many strong tools in Commonwealth. Their infantry being blue is kind of the only reason they're not all A tier, in my opinion. Rifle leaders, they're just a leader squad with a Piat, which is always nice. B phase, you have this wonderful card of Field Engineers, which coming in B phase gives you 18 of these bad little boys at 15 points. I mean, these are great. I mean, similar to the Stormtrooper, but just better because you get 18 of them instead of 5. Like, it's not even close. Again, we're not really using these units to actually fight. We're using them to throw a grenade and die. So these guys, phenomenal. Unfortunately, you don't really have enough white trucks. I mean, I guess technically, no, because they only have 5 white trucks here. So even with that, you'd still have only 16 white trucks, so you can't even bring them in white trucks. But I don't think, are white trucks even faster? They're not. Luckily, you have CMPs. So CMPs are much better than Bedfords. Unfortunately, I would love if you could bring them in a Jeep or something, but you can't. So, you know, they don't have the speed utility, but they're fine. It's fine. They function very well for a 15-point Suicide Squad. It's great. Then, our new super unit here. The Kangaroo Rifles. Look at that chunky squad of Brits. Some tea in the morning. Haha. How you doing? Sorry, terrible British accent. I'm sorry, all my British watchers. That was horrible. I take it all back. So, the Kangaroo Rifle, 30 points, only available in B and C, and at least at 1 vet. Comes with the Tank Rider trait, which is pretty darn good, especially because their transport that you have to bring them in comes with Tank Rider, which means that as long as you keep this thing around, these guys are going to get a nice little buff to their suppression resistance. Okay? You see less suppression in combat. But of course, it's really the infantry squad that's so exciting. It is a 15-man squad. That is a chunky mofo right there. 4 Stens, 8 rifles, 3 Brens, and a Piat. Woo! That's a squad right there. I mean, we all know that any squad with 3 machine guns, even 3 machine guns as poor as the Bren, is really good. That's just good. Again, all of these infantry weapons are kind of below par, except for the Lee Enfield, which is fine. You know, the Sten and the Bren are both very middly to bad small arms in comparison to the other ones in the game. But when you give this many of them, make it a 15-man squad, and give it Tank Rider, which actually matters because they all come in transports that have Tank Rider trait, all of a sudden you're getting somewhere. And then on top of that, the Kangaroo comes with that dreaded 50 cal, which basically insta-pins everything. So this thing is a unit. Now, it is 40 points. Like, it has to be 40 points because you have to bring it in the Kangaroo. So it is not cheap. It is a Fallschirmjäger. But, and it doesn't put out the damage of a Fallschirmjäger, but when you pair it with the Kangaroo, all of a sudden it is Fallschirmjäger level, right? You are pinning super fast because of that Kangaroo and stuff. And if, truthfully, this guy versus Fallschirmjägers in the woods, this guy wins all day long. Now, of course, you're doing something wrong if your Fallschirmjägers are in the woods, but that's beside the point. So anyway, these Kangaroo rifles, putting 3rd Canadian back on the map. I put one in B and one in C, and then C phase, I'm adding another card of Rifles Piat to give me that fat, quick play, queue, balanced forever feel, even though it's still only 95 infantry, which is a lot. I say only, but until I break 100, I don't feel like I'm going nuts yet. That's just me, though. Continuing on, our tank tab, you know, is better than a lot of Commonwealth tank tabs because you have one card of Fireflies. So in A phase, bringing the Sherman DD, has amphibious, doesn't really matter. It comes up in the most niche of situations, but yeah, it does. Other than that, it's fine. It's got 100mm front armor. That's great. It's got only 2 machine guns, which is a little bit worse, but it's got the 50 cal's all that really matters. These Brownings are nice, but it's this 50 cal that really does the work. Then you have Sherman 3s, which are the good Shermans with the 100mm of frontal armor, back to that 3 machine gun thing. So I have a card, both cards of these in A, so you double vet those so they really start to tear through stuff. Then in B, using the command Sherman here to basically give me the Shermans I'm looking for. And then there's the Firefly 5C here with its nice 17-pounder, 100mm of frontal armor. It's really nice. Only 1 machine gun, but you're not using this to kill infantry, you're using this to kill tanks. So this really helps you out with your mobile AT. And then in C phase, throw in more card of Shermans 3s here for the Sherman spam, just so you have Shermans for all of your time. The support tab here is an abnormally useful support tab for Commonwealth. One of the big issues with Commonwealth is a lot of times they don't have 2K HE, which can be a big issue. This one does not suffer from that issue at all. So you have the Vickers. Vickers are meh, but you do get 6 of them and 25 points, so they're serviceable for sure. But the Priest DD is the magic thing here. This is the magic. You get 2 cards of these, only 40 points in A and B. Now, the reason they're only 40 points is they are very weakly armored and very slow. So it is hard to like hop back and forth, but truthfully, for a 2K asset, that's not abnormal. You know, is it the best 2K weapon? No, but it's the same. It's the M2A1. It does solid damage, fires relatively fast. I'm vetting it because you get that 1 extra rate of fire. I find that to be very helpful. It does have 2 50 cals as well, like just because, and it does have the heat shell. It's not a very high penetration heat shell, but it's got a heat shell. So if like a T-34 or something catches this thing out and it lands a hit, I mean, it's a horrible accuracy. It probably won't, but the option is there. So 2 cards of these, great. They are amphibious. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. Commander and supply. None of these other things excite me. The AVRE, big issue is this super low range. Yes, there are niche situations where this thing might do something, but I don't think it's worth getting rid of 2K options for this. I really don't think it's worth that at all. But some people will argue it is. Go for it, man. You be my guest. You're a Chad. You're better than me. Skill issue, I guess. Anti-tank tab. It's a Commonwealth anti-tank tab. I'm not taking the Piats for the same argument before. The infantry have Piats. I don't need these dudes running around with Piats. They're only 10 points, though. I wouldn't fault you for taking them. But this AT tab is pretty limited in size, and there's a lot of things you kind of need. We are taking a 6-pounder. Comes with the APCR shells. Do allow them to kill bigger things, for sure. But, of course, it's the AP shells at that 1,500-meter range. It's a fast-firing AT gun. It's not anything like crazy, crazy good, but it is a very solid AT gun that you can generally rely on to kill the majority of medium tanks in a decent speed fashion. Then we also have a 17-pounder in A phase and B phase. 17-pounders are key to killing those heavy tanks that you need to keep away from you during all points of the game. I don't know why I'm bringing this in a Matador. That's stupid. Let's fix that. Okay, you should bring these guys in the Bedfords. In the CMPs, because they come with the 80 kilometers an hour. So we're going to get our B1 and we're going to get our C1, or A1, I mean. If you feel really ballsy, you could go BC with your 17-pounders and have tons of 17-pounders. Definitely an option. Like if you're going long and that's your only dream in life, then put this A phase card in C phase instead. Then taking a card of Wolverines. I mean, they're basically M1A1s. They're basically M10s, excuse me. They're M10s with no APCR. That's what they are. I mean, we all know how well these things perform. It's stupid. So yeah, B phase cards vetted. They are very solid. They don't have the APCR, but they're still very, very good. AA. I'm just taking the 40mm Bofors. The Staghound AA I would never take. This is absolute trash. The Polston also basically trash. This is similar to a, Axis 20 mil flak. This not good. Don't take it. Especially if you, if you really want something different, take the Crusader AA instead. This thing is pretty solid. It's nothing like overwhelmingly great, but it is solid. I don't think it's better than the Bofors. I am actually going to unvet this Bofors down. So I like having 7. Very commonly when you have these 37 mil, 40 mils, I like to go unvetted, vetted. 3 guns covers the map really well. So like if you're getting air spammed in A phase, at least you have the AA. I've had too many games where the 2 AA pieces I brought in A get killed, or even one of them does, and half the map is unprotected, and it's just awful. Like, it is just not a fun experience. So that's why I unvet this A phase card, so that they're a little less miserable. Actually, we can fix this as well, because they're coming in the Bedfords automatically, which is really annoying. So we're going to go over, put them in the CMPs instead. I do suggest vetting the B phase card at least, because the veterancy does make a big difference. Artillery. Lots of options here. Most people will disagree with the way I've built this artillery tab, and I built it really light because I'm focusing on the 2K support and stuff. You could very realistically take out the second card of priests, go to 4 in A phase, like go to unvet 4 in A phase, and then have more artillery, or another plane and another artillery piece. That's very reasonable. I would not fault you for that. Originally, I had this built with a mortar, the priest, and the 140. The thing is, too, the British just get a better mortar availability. I have no idea why. You get 1 veterancy and don't lose anything for it. So I would definitely double vet these and get 3 if you're going to take the mortar. I don't understand why. They just do. This is completely out of line with all the other mortars in the game. No idea why. English bias, I guess. Lols. Anyway, 107, a solid mortar as well. I mean, maybe you want to take this instead. But with the ability to double vet this without any real punishment, I have a hard time saying taking the 107. But the 107 can still be good. I mean, 19 rounds a minute, though, versus 23 rounds a minute. I mean, this thing is firing pretty fast. But both are solid choices. 25 pounder, they're fine. I mean, they're very standard. Nothing super duper special about them, but they only come in B, so that's why I'm not super excited about it. Because by B phase, I might as well just take the Priest 105 instead. It's a more effective gun. It fires a little bit slower than the 25 pounder, but it also does a fair bit more damage at 5.25 damage, and you get the mobility, of course, and it comes with the radio and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm a fan of the Priests over the 25 pounders here. Then we're taking our 140 and C, a really effective artillery piece. It's not amazing. It's not like bad. It's not good. It's just, I mean, technically it's under rate, right? Because 155 also fires 3 rounds a minute. So like this is technically kind of slow, not the best, but it's all right. It gets the job done well enough. Bringing it in, of course, with the supply here so that it lasts long. And then you have the cancerous part of this deck. You have 3 cards of off map, and this is what used to make this division so horrible and still makes this division so horrible, is this plethora of artillery. You get two cards of this disgusting 140 at only 140 points, and these days 140 points for off map is pretty darn cheap. Gross. I hate that this exists. I wish it didn't, and it should burn in hell. This, especially this AOP carrier, this is literally the most disgusting thing that ever existed. I hope it dies and burns in a fiery cavern of doom. Don't take these if you have any moral compass and you don't want to be a total pile of crap. Yeah. I have no positive things. We all know that. Obviously, taking the off map, if you're really playing competitively, you should probably take the off map. If you're playing to have fun, please don't take the off map. You're ruining everyone else's life. Air tab. Your beautiful Commonwealth air tabs with their super powerful and fast planes. Taking a card of Spitfires in A. Spitfires are good and bad. They put out some good damage. They're very fast. They're very maneuverable. Like, they can turn all over the freaking place. But they are made of paper. They die so easily and so quickly. Even a single piece of AA can very easily kill one of these. You have to be extremely cautious with these. They die so easily and so quickly. And the availability curve really kind of sucks at 246 or 248 with these. So I would even maybe consider putting the card in B instead of A. Get the 4 if you're really worried about your fighters. But, you know, if you're feeling really ballsy, you go A, unvetted. Then I'm taking the Mosquito with the rockets. It's a pretty fast plane with medium resilience. 8 150mm rockets definitely can do the job. They usually get the job done, can kill most soft targets in one shot. Infantry squads, probably will survive, but any, like support gun, AT gun or something, this will kill it. And then in B phase, I'm taking the Mosquito with the bombs, even bigger bomb loadout. Yeah, I like the Mosquitoes. They're fast. They go in quick. This is not actually a bigger bomb loadout. I apologize. The rockets are technically bigger. Maybe I should even switch these, but the availability curve on this sucks. It's 146, I think. Yeah. So I don't want to get one of these. I want to get 4, and you still get 2 of these. The other options, you can get the Spitfire, and that's fine. My problem again with these is they're just paper thin. They die so easily. It's the same issue. I'd much prefer the medium resilience. For only 15 points more, you're getting a significantly bigger bomb loadout, and you're getting medium resilience. You're losing some speed, of course, but that's 100% worth it. The same thing, Spitfire with more bomb loadout. It still dies the same way. Same issue as the other Spitfires. Mosquito with the napalm bombs might be good. This napalm's a pretty big explosion, but the availability curve is kind of meh. So that's why I'm not taking these. But yeah, and if you want to be a total horrible person, you could technically cheese Napalm Strike the Road at the beginning of the game and be a really awful person and be absolutely hated by everyone in the community. And then there's some more Mosquito rockets if you'd like them. I mean, I haven't experimented with this enough. Maybe I even take these out and just do all Mosquito rockets. Depends on how big the spread of the rockets are. And again, another option, take out a Priest DD, make this one unvetted, add an artillery and a plane in if you want more artillery and planes. That's a 100% good way to do that as well. So, 3rd Canadian, is it back? Back again. Let's hope not, because this deck is kind of cancer. But yeah, so we're going to check it out. We're going to get some games in with it, and hopefully we'll be bringing that to you soon enough. Thanks a bunch for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe, consider checking out that Patreon down below to really support the channel, and check out that new Instagram. Thanks a bunch, and have a fantastic day.